Today we're going to explore the origins of one of rock and roll's coolest and most imitated guitars. The guitar in question is Eddie Van Halen's iconic and homemade Frankenstrat. While many famous guitar players are known for playing certain guitars, most of those guitars are indistinguishable from a guitar you'd see hanging on a wall at a guitar store. Now look at this guitar. No one is confused as to who it belongs to. This is Eddie Van Halen's Frankenstein Strat, or Frankenstrat as many call it.
Some people call it Frankenstein. I call it my baby.
Like so many great guitar players, Eddie built his own guitar and modified it, and then modded it again and again, changing colors, necks, pickups, vibratos, and more. Let's dive in. In 1974, the rock band Mammoth officially changed its name to Van Halen. Their break came when they began to play regular gigs at a club called Gazzarri's on the Sunset Strip in Los Angeles, California, the same club that the Doors broke on through at. Okay, that's a terrible joke, I apologize. That same year, a young man named Eddie Van Halen had the idea to make his own guitar. It would be a hybrid of a Fender and a Gibson.
What I was trying to do was cross-pollinate a Gibson with a Fender.
According to young Eddie, he had to build his own guitars because
I didn't have the money, and the guitar that I wanted to play did not exist.
So young Eddie walks down to a place called Boogie Body's Guitars in San Dimas, California. There he bought an unfinished Northern Ash guitar body from the factory second pile for $80. It had a knot in the wood, so it was cheaper. The neck was $50, made of maple, including the fretboard, and was nice and wide, yet thin with big frets like on a Gibson, which young Eddie says helps with getting harmonics out of the guitar. So young Eddie takes these pieces of wood home and paints the body black, but he thought it looked a little boring. And he saw some masking tape nearby lying around, and he taped a bunch of stripes all over the guitar. Then he repaints it white, pulls off the tape, and presto, the Frankenstrat's trademark design is born.
It's alive!
But we're not even close to done, and neither was young Eddie. Young Eddie was an inventive boy. He made his own pickguard out of a vinyl record, which is kind of nuts because you can just buy them for not a lot of money, and that's now. It must have been even cheaper in the mid-70s. But that's not young Eddie's way. He's a do-it-yourselfer, an inventor, and an American original. True. The Boogie Body's guitar neck had no logo on the headstock, so Eddie got a hold of a Gibson decal and put that on it. He then took a vibrato unit from a 1958 Fender Stratocaster and screwed that into the body because he thought that's how it was supposed to be. He wired the guitar to have one control, the volume, because that's all he was able to do at the time. Though the knob says tone instead of volume because that's what he had lying around. He added Shaler tuners and the bridge pickup from his Gibson ES335, which is said to be one of the coveted PAF pickups, which stands for Patent Applied For, because that's what was on the sticker placed on the underside of the pickup, though later it was stamped on instead. Guitar pickup builders have been trying to recreate the sound of those pickups that were originally designed in the 50s ever since. This one had an Alnico 2 magnet, according to the internet. The pickup was a bit of a headache for young Eddie, as it was squealing and giving him all kinds of sass, which guitar players called feedback. Eddie's mother had taught young Ed how to deal with difficult people, and Eddie had listened to his mama. Eddie took that troublesome pickup and he boiled it in hot paraffin wax. And not just any wax, Dr. Zog's sex wax. He filled a U-Bahn coffee can with boiling sex wax, and he boiled that sassy pickup until it stopped squealing. To fit the humbucker, or double coil, into the body of the guitar, he carved out the pickup slot, which was routed for a single coil. This is why his pickup is angled. Many thought that it was to get a different guitar tone, and it does contribute to that. But it was actually because of how the guitar was already routed from the factory, and this angle enabled the pull pieces on the pickup to align with the strings. This is the guitar that you hear on Van Halen's first album, which is self-titled Mammoth. Just kidding. It's called Van Halen. But wait, there's more. This Frankenstrat is white. And isn't there an even more famous red version? Why, yes, there is. And actually, it's the exact same guitar, but of course with even more modifications. What are they, you ask? Let's find out together. Fast forward to the year 1979. Young Eddie had strayed from his baby during the previous years, but he just couldn't keep away from old Frankie. Always the tinkerer, young Eddie came back from a bike ride one afternoon and used some red bicycle paint and started redecorating. This is the version of Frankie that most people are familiar with. He said that by then a lot of other guitar players were copying him and he wanted to stay original. He also glued some bike reflectors to the back of the body and would flip his guitar upside down to show the crowd at Van Halen concerts. In 1980, young Eddie added the Floyd Rose bridge / tremolo / vibrato to keep Frankie in tune. Because if you've ever used a Fender vibrato the way that Eddie uses his, you're not going to stay in tune very long. But the Floyd had failed him, so young Eddie screwed a 1971 quarter to the body at the bridge to keep it flat for live gigs.
1/4.
Yeah, I'm saying it's got the extra hole
Right.
because it used to be
Right.
shifted over to put underneath here. And then I filled another hole because I didn't need it anymore.
On this red version of the guitar, young Eddie added a Mighty Mite single coil pickup in the neck position, but couldn't get it wired right. He kept it there anyway, and put a selector switch in the middle pickup cavity after removing a Telecaster pickup that was installed in 1979, but removed soon after. We know for sure that the PAF was swapped out for the bridge pickup from his yellow and black guitar, but we also know that wouldn't last. And there are plenty of articles on the internet talking about all the different pickups he used over the years in Frankie, including a Seymour Duncan and a DiMarzio. Also in 1979, the Frankenstrat had a white pickguard, but young Eddie couldn't stand the sight of the thing because he loved those red, white, and black stripes so darn much. He took a different pickguard, cut it down just to cover the volume and tone control cavity. A 3-way switch was also added, but it wasn't wired to anything. As for the neck, the original Boogie Bodies neck that he got in 1974 was changed around 1979 to the one he used previously on the black and yellow guitar for Van Halen 2. In 1982, he installed a Kramer neck, sanded down the logo, and throughout the years he's changed the neck a number of times. Most notably, a different one from Kramer with the hockey stick headstock matching the design of the body. In the 2000s, the old neck was put back on the guitar. Well, there you have it, the history of Eddie Van Halen's Frankenstrat. I hope you enjoyed this video. There are more details in the video description below that I just didn't have time to get to. Thanks for watching and have a great day. And finally, we have photographic evidence that drugs are bad for you. Drugs are not the answer. No sane and sober person would ever dress like this.
Nothing at all. Nothing at all. Nothing at all.
Stupid, sexy Flanders!
Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe.